Just Jenny. That's all. Right here on Sirius XM Stars.
All right. So I guess it was, I don't know, 3 or 4 years, 5 years ago. I don't even know. My son was still in high school. So it had to be, I don't even know what year, but I believe it was the last year of Ben Platt's playing Evan Hansen. But we got to see Evan Hansen on Broadway. And I fell in love with that show. I thought it was just so spectacular and interesting and unique. And it sort of then spawned another musical that was like a copy of it, but I forget the name of that one. It was, do you know the one I'm talking about? You know, it's oh
I
no.
believe so. I can't
Yeah.
remember it right now.
But it
Yes.
wasn't as good. But now Liz Kate is with me. She's an actor and a singer-songwriter. Her voice is ridiculous. If you just Google her,
Oh,
or look up Liz Kate music and look up the videos that come up on Google and then click it, you're like that voice. She's 20 years old. Really talented. Yeah, no, amazing. And I know you've done other TV and things before this, but now you're playing Gemma in Dear Evan Hansen on the big screen, which comes out September 24th. Now, do you think they're going to put it also on demand, on premium demand somehow for those of us who don't like to leave the house?
yeah. After the season we had, I understand that. I think right now it's only in theaters, I believe, but hopefully, once it's been out for a little while, we'll be able to share with our on-demand friends.
And I know that, I mean, regardless, I'll get there because I think it's just my kind. I just loved it so much. I love the soundtrack.
Yeah.
I'll put the soundtrack on just because it makes me happy and it's fun to sing along. And so let's talk about your character and let's talk about the show and the movie and talk about you, Liz. First of all, what was the audition process like for this musical?
Yes. So it was different because it was in the height of COVID. So it was something that, before COVID, we had started to kind of get into the self-taping realm, and casting directors started to get that was more of their social norm, in terms of the first step in the audition process. And so going into COVID, everything obviously shifted into, those self-tape auditions once things started to kind of pick back up again. And so I had auditioned in, I believe, July or June of 2020. And I had a director's call back with Steven over Zoom, which was something that I had never experienced before. And so, we were all kind of in the same boat with experimenting and what worked best for everybody. And it was definitely interesting. I auditioned for a different role originally, and on the director's callback, Steven had me audition for Gemma, and he
And what was the
was like,
role
"Oh,
you
this is
first?
awesome."
Yeah. What did you first audition for?
Yes, so I actually first auditioned for Charisse, which is now
Okay.
played by my dear friend Hadia. So yes, everything worked out exactly how it was supposed to. But I'm definitely happy to be Gemma. She was great to play. So.
And when you shoot a musical as a movie, how does that work? Like, do you only record the music in studio? Do you also sort of sing it without accompaniment or sing it a cappella when you're shooting because lip syncing looks weird as opposed to actually
Yeah.
singing looks less weird, even if they don't use the audio?
Yes, it's definitely, it has its quirks. It's different, obviously, than shooting a normal film, but we, we would have rehearsals, and we, went into the studio and we recorded before we did our scenes where we needed to be singing. But, when we were doing our scenes, we sang everything live. Everybody kind of was completely quiet on set, and we would just, belt out our songs. And it was really cool to see, and there were coordinators on set that would help us with that, and we had our little earwigs and everything. So yeah, it's definitely different than a normal movie, but it was fun. It was definitely a cool experience.
And your background, I mean, you're only 20 years old. So how long have you been performing? How long have you been writing? And what is your sort of what's your goal? And B, what's your advice to parents listening who have kids who want to be in this business or want to perform or want to sing or want to write?
Yeah. So I've been playing guitar since I was about 5 and singing since I could talk really. But I started songwriting when I was about 11 and acting when I was 6. So it all kind of, my mom really threw me into it, and got me passionate about it. And then I kind of took it from there. But my goal is always to be creative in whatever way that I can be. I hope to, obviously enhance my acting career by booking more, and the auditions are kind of rolling in. But to parents, you know the thing is really to just put the opportunities out there for their kids, and to always encourage them in whatever alleyway of creativity they want to go in, because my mom really never put a blocker on what I could do, and I think that
Right.
really helped me as I grew up.
Right.
I never felt like I was pressured into something that I didn't want to do, and I think that's when you can see people turning away from the things that their parents encourage them to do, because if you're forced to do something, it has to be your own decision. So
That whole stage mom thing. I agree.
yes.
It's no, but it's true because I learned that with my own
Yeah.
kids that my daughter writes, my daughter sings, and she goes to music school. She's at the University of Michigan in the School of Music, Theater and Dance, and she's a super talented kid and she hates performing. And I
Yeah.
never, I mean, I was like, it's great to get into college this way because like she's going to a great school and she's artistic and she's had the best of sort of the conservatory mixed with like regular college. But I never pushed her to do it because I was like, please don't do this business. Like, this is the kind of thing,
Yeah.
and this, Liz, that like you
Yeah,
have to love
the hardest
performance.
business to be in.
Yeah. It's like it has to be in the depths of your soul how much you love this
Yes.
business and how much you love to perform. She loves TikTok and she's doing great there.
Yep.
And great. That's at her own, like she gets to choose. And same
Yes.
thing, like, yeah, my son likes academics. So we just would support that. Like you can't give them your dream. You have to let them have their own.
Exactly. And that
Yeah.
definitely, that's really important. And I think, if you just present the opportunities out there, like you were saying, if you just present those opportunities, they're bound to catch one or two. And if they don't, then they'll find their way. But I think as far as the entertainment world, I mean, it's intimidating, and
Yeah.
it's a hard business to be in, because
Yeah.
you're just kind of constantly putting yourself out there and being vulnerable, and it's a hard thing to do, but once you kind of find your way, it becomes easier and easier, and it starts to just become fun. That's the main thing, is you just want to have fun in
Good for
this
you.
industry, and if you're not having
Liz,
fun, yeah.
yeah. Were you like growing up? Did you look at people like Taylor Swift and Billie Eilish and sort of the way they write and think like, oh, I can write something? Like when you're a writer, it adds a certain something because I think there's a lot of really talented vocalists, and clearly you're a really, really talented vocalist.
Oh, thank
But
you.
I think if you can strum the guitar, play the piano, and write your own stuff as well, and come up with the lyrics, like that's I don't know what kind of threat that is. It's triple, double, I don't know. But that's something pretty remarkable. So who sort of influenced you, and when did you realize that you could actually do this songwriting thing?
Yeah, I started writing when I said when I was about 11, and
Yeah.
my goal going into it was always, I just have always been a storyteller, and I've always been one to make up stories to my friends at recess, and just grew up wanting to teach people and help heal people, and just be a storyteller in general. And I think definitely a big influence in my life is still my vocal coach, Vanessa Oliveras. And she encouraged me to also go to Belmont. I go to Belmont University. I'm a songwriting major there, and so it was just always encouraged in my life to tell the stories that I wanted to tell, and never, force down my throat or any of the things. And I think, a big influence in my life was her, and bigger
Mhm.
influences, obviously Taylor Swift was when I was younger. I had the blonde hair, and I had the guitar in front of me. People were like, "Oh, you're gonna be the next Taylor Swift." And now she's
Oh
like,
God.
I mean,
Yeah.
has always been the boss woman of the music industry. So that's a great compliment. But back then I was like, oh, okay, yeah, yeah. And just kind of
Yeah.
went with it. But Yeah, Taylor Swift was definitely a huge influence back then. My style's definitely changed into more of like a Nora Jones, Sarah Bareilles type of beat, but
Also
yes,
great.
back then.
I mean, Sarah Bareilles is like, you look at her career now, and she transitioned beautifully into acting with Girls Five Eva and with doing the shows on Broadway that she's
Yes,
done. She's
multi-talented.
incredible too. Oh yeah, and that voice. I mean, please, you hear
Oh,
that from Gravity and you just
listen to it
fall
for
to the floor.
hours.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Yes,
really
big fan
absurd.
of hers.
Yeah. So here you are doing, I mean, is this like you're living a dream? Are you just like, what does it feel like for you when you wake up in the morning? Are you beyond excited? Can you even sleep with all that's going on?
No, how could I? No. Yeah, it's such a beautiful thing when it's always been my dream that my music side and my acting side could come together. And when that happens, it's just a really beautiful thing. And getting to work with songwriters such as Pasek and Paul, I mean, my brain was just like blown. And it's just so encouraging to, further my career. It's kind of like a big milestone that I've hit. And I just want to keep pushing forward and keep doing the things that I love, and just working on set even during this strange time that it was with COVID and how everything kind of looked different. It still met and exceeded my expectations with
Do you
just what everything that Universal did for the movie. And
yeah, what songs do you sing? What songs are you part of in the show, in the movie?
yes, so I'm on the soundtrack. I'm in You Will Be Found.
It's the best song. I mean,
Yes, oh, it is. I know.
I'm
I'm
so
still
good.
listening to the Broadway soundtrack in my car every day. So
How could you not? I mean, it's like, how could
exactly.
you not? It's just it's just beautiful. It's just so beautiful. Marcus, you put your camera on. Is that because you wanted to know if Liz thinks you look like Ben Platt because you're such a wacko?
Absolutely, because as on in my side career as a tour guide for many years, everyone said, "You look like the funny guy from Pitch Perfect." And I said, "I think I'm a lot older than the funny guy from Pitch Perfect, but we're both funny Jewish guys." And
You know what? I can kind of see it. I'm not gonna lie, and it's
yeah,
not.
well,
It
I'm
is a
getting grayer and
compliment.
grayer by the minute, but I'll tell you a story. I was sitting with a friend of mine in a restaurant here in New York, and one of her work friends, and we were sitting there for 15, 20 minutes, and her friend was very quiet. We were just having a funny conversation. And then her friend said to me after 15 minutes, I was being quiet because for the last 15 minutes, I was trying to figure out how my friend from work knows Ben Platt. And then I finally realized that you're not Ben Platt. Now, I don't even think I look that much like
Staring endlessly.
I don't even think I look that much like him, but I was Evan Hansen for
And when
Halloween.
you say I don't think I look that much like him,
Yes,
you say it all the time. You say it
I
all.
was
You were
for
him for
Halloween.
I
Halloween.
can see
I
it.
was Evan Hansen for Halloween.
Oh my God. In
We're
any
both
event,
We have to see
yeah.
those pictures.
I really I just Liz, I can't wait to see the movie. Now, if people want to read more about you, learn more about you, where should I send them? Or where do you want them sent?
Yes. You can go to my website, lizkate.com. You can also find that through all my socials. It's just at LizKate Music on everything. You can
Okay.
find me there. Yes.
So,
I have an album coming
yeah.
up possibly. So
Oh, tell me. Talk about that.
yes. No, yes, I have an album coming up in the next few months. I'm going to be releasing it. So it's something to be really excited about. I'm going to be talking about a lot of topics that I've just kind of been sitting on for the last few I guess 10ish years. So I'm
Yeah.
finally ready to release all my heart into the world.
At 20 years old. And so and this is so have you recorded everything, or have you put down all the tracks, or you're just and shopping?
We're in the process right now.
Okay.
Yes, we're in the process right now. We're about to start recording. So I'm very, very excited about it.
Congratulations on all of this. It takes a
Thank
lot of
you.
effort. How often do you play? How often do you practice?
Oh, every day. It's definitely an everyday thing. And that's, advice for anybody who also wants to be in this industry. There's always somebody that wants it just a little bit more. And so you always kind of have to be on your toes. And even if it's just writing something down in your notes app every day and something that is inspiring you. Just always kind of when I'm reading a book or when I'm, I still like to read the newspaper. I'm kind of an older woman in my soul, but yeah, so just reading anything, and just anything that inspires you, writing it down. And practicing doesn't have to look like sitting at your guitar and being there for 2 hours and because that can discourage you, but just anything you can do to be creative in the day and practice. That's kind of my motto. So
it's really good advice. So follow Liz Kate at Liz Kate Music on Instagram. Go to lizkate.com. Kate is, of course, Kate. Thank you so much for being on my show. Check out Dear Evan Hansen. It'll be in theaters later September and September 24th. I'm so excited to see this movie, and I can't wait. So congratulations and all good things.
Thank you so much. It was an honor. Thank you for having me.
Sure. Anytime. All right. Quick break, you guys, and I'll be right back. So please stay tuned.
Turn your radio up to 50. There's more Just Jenny with Jenny Hunt next.